Alrighty, what is going on, guys? It's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel for another episode of the Legion Lounge Live. As always, I am joined by my co-host and brother, Toxic Strike, aka Ghostlead. Say
hey,
what's up to the people. And we also have a guest with us again tonight, Toxic Crusader. Say what's up to the people.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
So yeah, we are all here tonight to talk about something that I've wanted to talk about ever since we stayed up until 3 a.m. on Thursday night into Friday morning, waiting for and spending an hour of our time watching it. Tonight, we are finally going to be talking about the Season 2 premiere of The Mandalorian. We're going to be going all, like, full spoilers, so this is your spoiler warning if you have not seen the episode yet. Full on spoiler warning, full on spoiler talk. Yeah, so just be warned on that one. We're gonna go full spoiler talk on that. If you guys have anything to add, anything you want us to talk about for the episode, just add it. Just let us know in chat. Just type in there and we'll see it and try to address it. But yeah, with that out of the way, I just kind of wanted to go through the entire episode, probably just in chronological order unless something else crazy comes up. So just yeah, that's about it. We're going to talk about Mando Season 2 and then a couple of other things towards the end of the stream if we have time. But yeah, we just want to talk about Mando Season 2. So let's stop rambling and let's talk about it. So overall, guys, what did you think of this Season 2 premiere episode?
Well, overall, I feel like it's a very good introduction into the new season of the show. I don't really feel like there was no big story details that were really put in except for those fans of, Boba Fett and everything, and those who've read the Aftermath comics and saw everything with Cobb Vanth and all that good stuff. But I feel like the main points of it were really just, reintroducing, all these fans back into the series and just giving them a little bit of that fan service at the beginning and just having a good little, fun episode. It kind of reminded me of episode 4 of season 1. And I mean, it just, if you guys don't know which episode that was the one where they had to defend the village and everything. It was a great episode, but it didn't really, do much for the plot except for the end, which is almost exactly what happened here as well. And I don't know. I just feel like it was a good introduction. It didn't, of course, give us everything that we might have wanted. More information on Baby Yoda or anything like that. But it was just overall a good episode, in my opinion.
All right, nice. Crusader, what do you think of this episode? Just initial general thoughts on it.
Well, I think it was a strong start to the new season. It has a standard Mandalorian plot. And with a little twist with the Western story with Cobb Vanth, with his introduction in there. But overall, I think it was a great episode. See more Baby Yoda and with that giant worm carrot dragon. Is that
Yeah, the crate dragon.
Yeah, but it was a great episode.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, my thoughts are kind of the same as you guys. I've been, honestly, probably pretty vocal about how much I enjoyed this episode. I know there are some people that kind of agree with me on this, some people that don't. But I honestly, thinking back to all the episodes last season, even though I loved last season, this premiere episode for Season 2 might be... It's definitely in my top few, but it could honestly be my favorite episode of the series. It combined elements of like Strike mentioned, it combined elements of episode 4. It also felt a little bit like episode 2, the one with the Mudhorn and everything like that. So it kind of combined the, Drifter coming into town and, rallying all the townspeople together to fight back against this giant beast of a creature. Like episode 4 when they were fighting the AT-ATs or the AT-ATs for those that like to call them that, or was it the AT-ST? I don't even know. I think it was an ST. It was an AT-ST. Yeah, it was an ST. My bad. But yeah, fighting back against the AT-ST and all that stuff from episode 4. But yeah, I thought that this one was kind of a great reintroduction for us into the world of the Mandalorian. We got to, pick back up with Din Djarin and Baby Yoda and everything. Really loved that opening scene, especially just like, how the music goes, in that fight scene and stuff like that. So yeah, it was such a good premiere episode, and it really got you back into the series. And it was like, how did I go for like a year without seeing new episodes of the show? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Pretty much to me, it was kind of a 10 out of 10 episode, but yeah, that's just me. I kind of love everything Mandalorian related. Obviously, I've got Baby Yoda and the Darksaber behind me. But yeah, that's kind of my original, or like not original, but kind of initial. That's the word I was looking for. Initial thoughts on the episode. So yeah, let's go chronological order. Beginning of the episode, Din Djarin and Baby Yoda walk into this kind of like graffiti grunge town to go to this, underground fight ring. You see the Gamorrean guards from episode 6 in the fight ring and all that stuff. And then he's going to look for information on more Mandalorians. And then a fight breaks out. What'd you guys think about that?
I thought that was pretty cool. It wasn't really anything, not like it wasn't special, but I was just saying that it was just kind of, I think it was a great way to kind of see where Mando's come. Of course, in the first season, he was still kicking people's butts, but I think now more than ever, you can really see how strong he really is, and how powerful and, of a force he really is. Of course, he's not, on some of the levels of other, characters in the universe, but of course, he's very strong and very powerful. Of course, not in the Force or anything like that, but as in like, an actual skilled fighter, and there's very few of those in the universe that actually are seen as, big powerhouses in the universe besides maybe bounty hunters and stuff. But I think that, Mando really is something special. And I feel like he's a character that, he's just cool. He's great without having to, be powerful in the Force. And I think that's one thing that I really enjoy about it.
Yeah, me too. It's like not everything has to be related back to, the Force and all the stuff that we know from the mainline Star Wars movies and series and all that stuff.
Right,
and that's I think we'll get into that a little bit later, but that is one of the major things that I like with The Mandalorian, is the fact that it is so separate. While we do see a lot of familiar stuff, and I know there were some people that kind of were like, oh, well, we went back to Tatooine in this episode. We were literally just there last season. Like, why are we reusing all these locations and stuff like that? But I think The Mandalorian really is very separate from everything else, while still holding on to that, that feel of a property within the Star Wars universe. Like this episode, obviously we got, the flashback to post Death Star 2 blowing up and stuff like that. I definitely wasn't expecting to see that in this episode, but I think that's great to just kind of, solidify where this is in the timeline for those who were still confused or whatever. It is, of course, post episode 6. It's in between 6 and 7, but it's like only 5 years after episode 6, so it's much closer to the original trilogy than the sequel trilogy and stuff like that. But yeah, I just think with the way that the Mando is right now, it's great that it's so separate, but also bringing in familiar ideas to us. And again, we'll get back to that a little bit later when we talk more about characters and stuff showing up and rumors of characters that will show up. But yeah, that's just kind of my thing right there. Crusader, what did you think of that initial fight scene in the episode?
Well, I was stoked about that the fight scene, like after seeing the recap, because in the beginning it was a recap of like what just happened so far, but when it went up to that place with all the curious graffiti, and then it seemed very right for like, because of how like the little red beady eyes, and then the crooked those light posts, it was, like, very dark and all that. But that bar scene was pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
because he was trying to find information about the Mandalorian and trying to see where bring the child back to his people and all that. But the guy double crossed him just for his armor, but he was like, nah, yeah, he was gonna fight. And then they got all beat, and then he left the guy hanging on that pole and turned off and blasted that light, and then all the little creatures started coming out.
Yeah.
About moms.
No, well, so here about the end part of that. So easily my favorite part of that kind of original or that opening fight scene was the fact that Mando tied up the dude on the light pole and he's like, "You have my word, you will not die by my hand." And then he just like he gets the info he needs. He's like, "All right, I gotta go to Tatooine. There's a Mando on Tatooine." He walks away, and the guy's like, "Mando, don't leave me here." And then he just turns around, shoots the light, goes dark, and then the red eye creatures just go and get him. And I was like, "Yep, he did not die by his hand." It's kind of just like a Batman. I'm not gonna kill you, but I'm not gonna save you. I would do my Batman voice, or well, I could do my Batman voice. Why not? Who cares? I'm not gonna kill you, but I'm not gonna save you. Clip that. But yeah, I mean, that's basically what Mando did this episode. So I thought that was great. But kind of skipping, not really skipping ahead because we're still on this. But so the dude said there's a Mando on Tatooine. Obviously, we had Mando go to Tatooine and he met Cobb Vanth, who was wearing, spoiler, Boba Fett's armor, right? He got Boba Fett's armor. He got it from, bought it off some Jawas. But do you think he was really referring?
Story?
Well, that's what happened in the aftermath.
No, I'm being serious.
I think it is. According, what I saw is that happened in the aftermath comic. Is it's pretty much?
No, it did. But
it pretty much lines up
in the way that it did.
Okay, yeah, well, it roughly lines up with it.
I actually have some information out myself.
Okay. Tell me,
tell
me,
and
then we'll get back to what I was gonna say.
Research with Cobb Vanth and everything like that, but
okay.
Supposedly, and I mean, if I never fully read the aftermath comic, and this is just from what I've been seeing other people say, and all that good stuff, but. Supposedly, because I don't remember exactly the name of what was the name of like the group that was attacking what's it called Mos Pelgo.
Oh, the mining guild.
No, because here it says that they're called the Red Key Raiders.
Well, it's similar but different. I think
but also this is something that was in the book, at least, is that when he came up to the to the sand crawler with the Jawas and everything, he actually had somebody else there named Adwin Chara, and he was part of the Red Key, and Cobb Vanth actually shot him and injured him, and like basically used him as a message to send to the boss, like the leader of it.
Okay.
And he basically took the armor because Adwin Chara was going to actually take the armor himself, but Cobb Vanth basically shot him and stole it from him before he, well, not exactly stole it, but bought it before he could. And then he came back, and of course the same things kind of happened. But also in this, at some point, the town's name actually changed to Freetown.
Yeah, so I think, so here, my take on this is that they decided to do something that referenced a canon book in the Star Wars universe for those who have read the Aftermath novel, who know of Cobb Vanth, because obviously that was a big talking point before the season. There were rumors that Cobb Vanth would show up, and people were like, "Oh, that's such a deep cut." Is like if something like this were to happen, that would be just like kind of a crazy thing that you wouldn't think of. Like usually just small characters that appear in like Star Wars novels, whatever, they usually don't see much light in the more live action stuff. Usually that would be reserved for kind of like a one-off on maybe an animated series or something. So it's very big for them to bring
those. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but like those kind of things, because it was the mining collective that was still taking over his town, but the whole main people behind it is the Red Key Raiders. Okay. And we didn't see it in his flashback, but when he was there at the Sandcrawler getting the Mandalorian armor, Boba Fett's armor, he did see this Adwin Chara guy, who was part of the Red Key Raiders. So technically what they really did was they kind of, not exactly, beat around the bush, but they didn't really talk about those specific talking points, or those specific events. It still technically did happen. It's just that we didn't see them. Okay. So, I mean, the other thing is they might take this, and if people really do like Cobb Vanth, and if he comes back and gets his armor or whatever, whatever's going to happen, which I'm kind of, going ahead, but I'm just saying that if people really do enjoy it, they might show Cobb Vanth and him basically trying to take down the Red Key Raiders, which is what I'm thinking they might do for another series if people really do enjoy Mandalorian.
Right.
Which, I mean, of course, people already are, And if they said, oh, we're just going to do another series and it's going to be this little side thing with Cobb Vanth, and if people really do like him, and it seems like a lot of people are already liking him, I think that it could just be something cool that they do on the side.
Okay.
But I think that it's very possible that they come back and at least talk about the story again, because Mando might pop back up over there.
Yeah. I think I definitely think that they definitely left the door open to learn more about Cobb Vanth, because obviously there's a time gap. There's like a 5-year time gap in between the fall of the Empire, when right after the Death Star blew up and everything, and Cobb Vanth got his armor, or got Boba Fett's armor. We saw him, liberate the town or whatever. Right. He was the marshal of the town for, I guess upwards of 5 years, until, Mando comes in and stuff like that. So obviously there's a lot more story there that can be told about Cobb Vanth. But
I'm
I think
actually not going to talk about the rest of the information that is on here.
Yeah.
Because it could be seen as spoilers.
It could be. I guess it could be.
The thing is, if they do want to talk about it or bring it up later, or if they do want him to come into those, they want like Mando to come back and actually interact with Cobb Vanth and some of these things that happened in the book that could be brought to life. I think that I just don't want to really talk about that now, because it's like some of the storylines, like Endgame and everything, when you had the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, you didn't really want to read all that just to really know who's going to die or this and that. Because like a lot of those are very close into what actually happened in the books, or in the comics, I mean.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I think overall it was great that they decided to bring in Cobb Vanth. They decided to, make this deep cut reference to the books and everything like that. And, that was something that, both of us, when we sat down and watched the episode, when Mando left the original, the first planet at the beginning, and the title card popped up and it was like Chapter 9, The Marshal. And then we were like, they're doing Cobb Vanth in the premiere episode. Like we were definitely not expecting that. Like I expected him to show up at some point this season, because that's kind of what the rumors and the leaks suggested, but I wasn't expecting it this early, and I'm so glad that we saw it. I think the actor who played Cobb Vanth, I think his name is Timothy Oliphant. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's his name. I thought he did an amazing job as the character, and I really hope we see Cobb Vanth again. I loved his interaction with Din Djarin and everything, and I loved kind of seeing his progression throughout the episode. Like, he kind of had a little mini character arc. Like, when you first meet him, you think, oh, he's kind of like this jerk sheriff,
Yeah.
But by the end of the episode, Mando trusted him enough. He was like, hey, I'm gonna go inside this weird space worm for a minute. Go just watch Baby Yoda while I'm gone. So, I don't think people were talking about it. I don't think it was I don't think it was like, if I die, watch the child. I think it was more like, hey, I'm going over here for a minute. I'll be back. Just watch him. Make sure he doesn't get eaten. I'm pretty sure that's what that meant. But still, he trusted him by the end of the episode. And I think that's, I think it all plays into this whole morality behind like what makes a Mandalorian. The whole thing, it's like, it's not a race, it's a creed. So does Cobb Vanth exhibit the characteristics of a true Mandalorian? Is like at the end of the episode, he gives Boba's armor back to Din, and he's like, hey, here's the armor back, it's for your people, whatever.
I didn't break the jetpack.
It was already like that, so it was like that when I found it. But yeah, it's like, I feel like that's the whole like crux of the season, right? It's like, what makes a Mandalorian, and what makes you a part of this group, is like the whole thing. Mando is trying to bring Baby Yoda back to his people, but really, who are his people? Are his people the Jedi? Are his people the other Yoda species?
Are they the Sith?
Or are his people now going to be, Mando? Mando is his people. If you
Right.
search up Din Djarin on Wikipedia now, like the little
Wikipedia.
on the little Wikipedia, the little blurb that comes up, and it just like it says, no, it's not if you search up Mando, it's if you search up Baby Yoda. It says adopted father, Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian, and I think that's hilarious. But yeah, Crusader, you've been very quiet. What do you think about all this so far?
So far, I mean, you guys mostly talking most about Cobb Van and all that, but yeah, it was pretty interesting when I actually like, because I never read the comics before and all that. I knew it was gonna be Cobb Van because when the Mando stepped into that little bar thing and talked to the bartender and asked where the Mandalorian is, the bartender, he didn't even know. He was like, "Oh, what is the guy talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, can you describe him?" Mando was like, "Yeah, it looks like just like me." He was like, "Oh, you're talking about the Marshal? Yeah, he's sitting right there." And then it angles off to like the Marshal, and then after that, I guess the Mandalorian assumed that, okay, this is the Mandalorian. It's definitely the Mandalorian. And then the Marshal sat down and took off the helmet. Then the Mando realized, he's like, this is not a Mandalorian. It's a guy just wearing the armor, and it's not like the Creed, because you're not supposed to take off your helmet for anybody. But I actually thought at first, like, when that happened, I was assuming that Mando was going to actually shoot him.
Yeah.
Of how tension it was, because like I'm gonna take your armor off.
Yeah, and I loved how he was like, you sure you want to do this in front of the child? And Mando's like, he's seen worse.
He's seen worse.
that was great.
I thought that was great.
I feel like there was going to be a duel that was about to happen, but the earthquake stopped it. And
Yeah.
I guess it helped build like a better bond between them, even though they didn't really trust each other at first. But they worked it out. And at the end, no one died. Well, there's a few people that died.
No, but I mean, I loved that. I loved the friendship that kind of built between Mando and, or maybe not friendship, but I guess that mutual respect that that Mando and Cobb Vanth kind of built for each other over the episode.
Here's my question: why does Mando always have to fight somebody first and then they become friends?
But he basically,
every one of his
like,
friends, he had to fight him first.
Yeah, or no, it's like a video game. It's like he rolls into town and he's got a quest, and it's like, all right, Mando, to move on, you got to slay the beast.
Basically, yeah. I mean, think about this for a second. IG-11 shot him in the head at first.
Oh yeah, that's true.
What was his name? I can't even remember.
Carl Weathers' character. Yeah, Grief
he literally was trying
Karga.
to hunt him and kill him.
Yeah, that's true too.
Mando. Also, think about what was her name?
Cara Dune.
Cara Dune. He literally was fighting, and he was literally fighting with her, and then Baby Yoda was there just like drinking his chalky milk.
But I mean, that's kind of how some of the best friendships form. Is originally your enemies, and then. Yeah. But here, so before we get into talking about more Mandalorian culture stuff, whatever, right? I want to talk about a couple of smaller things that kind of like towards the middle part of the episode, and then we'll get more towards the end, right? So obviously you guys see the thumbnail, and I'm sure when you watch this, you could draw the comparisons between the crate dragon and the Alaskan bullworm. That's all I could think about.
I will say actually, English. I will actually say this about the crate dragon though. I mean, we've never seen a crate dragon in our lives.
No,
nobody's ever seen
it looked really good. It looked really good.
Just everything in this episode. Season 1 looked great, but this season looks even better. Season is some of the best CGI. The best, they're not even using green screen. The best, electric screens that I've ever seen.
Yeah, whatever that tech is called. And you could definitely see it, especially when Mando was on the speeder. Cobb Vanth was riding the makeshift speeder made from a part of Anakin's pod racer, which was, amazing. Now this is pod racing. But yeah, I think, it looked, this episode, we kept saying it looked so good.
Great.
And then especially at the end when you go and have the final showdown with the crate dragon, like as it's coming out of the cave, out of the abandoned Sarlacc pit, like the aspect ratio changes. Like you have your normal like widescreen film look, right, with the black bars on top, and then as it came out, it went to full screen. And I thought, I don't know, the film nerd.
What else? Like, what?
Oh, they do. That's a style that's done in TV shows and movies all the time. But I don't know, just the film nut inside of me absolutely loved that.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Also, I love the R5.
Oh, the R5 cameo. Yeah, that's
R5,
great.
When R5 appeared, if nobody, well, not nobody, but some of you guys don't remember who R5 is. R5 is the droid from A New Hope that was like breaking down, and then Uncle Owen was like, I don't want this piece of junk. Well, somebody finally bought that piece of junk. And helped out the Mando.
Oh no, and I liked the like the lady at the shipwright or whatever, and she was like, he's like talking about Baby Yoda. It's like, if this thing ever multiplies, I'll pay for the offspring. Kidding, but not really. I was like, that's hilarious.
She
Everybody,
just loves Baby Yoda.
everybody wants a Baby Yoda. That's why Baby Yoda's back. I can't even point right. Get back there. There we go. Here, before we continue, looking at chats. Goku solos the verse. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what that means.
No,
from Jericho. I don't.
Do you not know the meme?
No.
He's not beating Goku. He's not beating Goku. You've never seen that meme before?
No, I haven't.
Like,
okay, well that shows how out of touch I am.
Crusader, have you actually heard of that before or no? He's not beating Goku. Huh?
What, in the chat? No, I never heard
no,
of that.
you've never
I've never heard of that. I'm so sorry. I don't know what that means.
There's so many memes where like where people are just like any kind of hero or villain or whatever that people think is like powerful, and there's always like the joke is just like there's always people in the comments that are like, he's not beating Goku.
Oh, Baby Yoda could be Goku. I'm not even seen whatever he's. I've not even. What is he in? Is it Dragon Ball? I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not even seen that. I know Baby Yoda can beat him.
I'm not even gonna lie. Baby Yoda's not gonna beat Goku.
Baby Yoda's gonna beat him. He's gonna kill him.
Goku literally can like.
Baby Yoda is going to kill him with his cuteness. That's all there is to it.
Okay.
That
might actually happen. That might actually happen though.
That thing was
the
Mudhorn, yeah.
Yeah, man, you picked that up like it was nothing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Baby Yoda's a G.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, so back to the crate dragon / Alaskan bullworm. I was like, you know what they should do to Mos Pelgo? They should just take the town and push it somewhere else. I don't know. Okay, that's it for. That's it for SpongeBob references. But still, I thought that was hilarious, and that's why the thumbnail exists. But yeah, Goku can solo the DC and Marvel verse. I don't know, possibly.
I almost forgot about that.
What?
Crusader just put it down in the Discord chat. But when Baby Yoda force choke Cara Dune.
Oh yeah, so that was the other thing that I wanted to talk about, right? So, Din Djarin's like, oh, he's seen worse, right? So that's what people are talking about is
he's done worse.
Baby Yoda's Baby Yoda is around all this violence, right? Could this tip him to possibly dabbling in the dark side? I don't think so. But it's interesting. Right, well, but it's interesting because it's like, even at the beginning, it's like, oh, this is no place for a child, and then Din's like, oh, wherever I go, he goes. But like, is something gonna happen where, I mean, it's basically the Baby Yoda show now, but like, could we possibly get to a point where Din just takes him to his people and he's like, hey, my life is too crazy for this baby? It's like if he stays around all this violence, it's not good for him. So like, do you think that there's a
how much time that Baby Yoda has actually spent in his lifetime so far, actually like in that kind of stuff? What is this, like 2-3 years? If that, you know.
What do you
This is
mean?
maybe,
What's
like,
2-3
year
years?
out of his 50 years that he's been alive? This is like what?
No,
1,
this is
2
like,
years that
I
he's-
think this is like weeks or months. This is definitely not
Exactly.
years.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like at the most, he spent maybe a year with Din. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like how much of that. Would
Well,
he
actually,
really
they
want?
were at that, like, in that village town from episode 4. I think they were there for a few months, actually.
I think they were there for. A few
Yeah,
months.
maybe they were there for a little bit.
I'm gonna give it like a, because I mean we don't even know the time jump.
And
between
yeah, maybe
season
there
1.
was a small time jump between seasons 2. I'm not even sure what that time frame is. So, like, maybe
Really don't
maybe
even
we
know.
can say it's possibly a year at most. I
We're
would
gonna
say
have to go back
from.
and look at like some what's it called, like some Witcher timeline stuff.
Yeah,
was
it's not.
so
It's not as
complicated.
confusing. It's not as complicated as the Witcher timeline. No.
I don't know about you, but like at like a point, I know this is completely off topic, but like with Witcher, there was just like a point in the show where I hit and I was like, oh, not all this stuff is happening at the same time. And I think it was like the dining scene, like, you know, where they're in there and then
Yeah.
he sees whatever her name is like grandma or something.
Yeah.
What's her name? I can't even remember her name.
I
Siri's
don't-
grandma.
Yeah, I know
And
what
I'm
you're
like,
talking
oh,
about.
she died in like the first episode, but she's now
Right.
alive.
Wait, here. Mandalorian versus The Witcher. Who wins?
Mandalorian.
Totally.
Mandalorian. I mean,
I don't know.
here's the
Well,
thing. The
here,
Witcher like,
well,
has like his like force push kind of thing though.
yeah, but also
He's like a
would,
Jedi without
but
a lightsaber.
would Geralt get disintegrated by Mando's disintegration rifle?
That's the other thing. Yeah. I mean, also it's just like what seriously could have killed the Krayt dragon?
Yeah, so that's that is because he
Like, could,
shot
like,
that
a
thing.
lightsaber cut through it because
Right.
the thing is,
Well, he
I mean, I'm
shot
not
the
saying
thing.
that his blaster is like not his blaster, but like his rifle is as powerful as a lightsaber, but it's supposed to literally like disintegrate.
Right, he shot it multiple times with the rifle that we've seen disintegrate people
did
in a
nothing.
single
And he
shot,
just
and it
kinda,
did
like, walked it
nothing.
off, like,
He
he
just
just, like-
brushed it off.
It just like slapped them.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized? Like
Hmm.
from The Witcher and like the Mandalorian? It's
What?
like, you know, they have both in common. Like those two they're heroes. Right? Yeah, they're the two heroes, you know, like they're like warriors and kind of like also bounty hunters too.
Yeah.
But they were, you know, had like a tragic childhood and all that, and like destined to become like a greater hero for like protecting like a young like superpowered child, you know, back with The Witcher.
Basically, yeah.
with
Yeah, I mean, they're
girl
both very
and
similar.
Mandalorian with the child.
Here's the thing: The Witcher is just everything, but in a fantasy kind of setting. Well, Star Wars is fantasy setting, but in space.
Yeah, yeah.
And it would totally beat up Geralt because he has
Yeah,
Beskar
I mean-
on, and he's like, you saw what he does. Man.
That's true, but The
I mean, I
Witcher's
don't
got
think that is sword, but here's the thing, though: it really depends on what kind of situation they're in. If they're like in like a hunting kind of situation, where you know he's being hunted down by Geralt. I mean, of course, Geralt is a legendary hunter. You know, that's his like whole purpose. He's a monster hunter. But like the thing is,
a Witcher.
of course, I mean, would Beskar Steel would most definitely protect him from the cuts, maybe. Because then you also have to think, would Geralt be smart enough to just cut him in the places where he doesn't have the armor? I mean, of course, Geralt's smart. So I think that he would just realize, oh, I can just cut off both of his arms, because I'm kind of looking at the Mandalorian right now. Cut off both of his arms. I can cut off his legs. And also the other thing is, what would Geralt do if he got shot by a blaster? You know, they just have crossbows in the universe. They don't have like
Yeah,
actual,
I don't know. And
guns. Would like if you just like pulled out like a I don't know, like a M4 against Geralt, would he just die? Would he just get clapped and that's it? He's like, if he gets dropped in the war zone, is he done?
I mean,
I
Mando,
really
Mando
wonder.
has, he has blasters and he has the worldly winds with his wrist, and while Gerald has like some magical powers.
oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
Mando
he
would just
literally has a
destroy him.
force
No,
push.
yeah, no, Mando would just
Basically.
destroy him with the little blue Seeky
You
rocket
mean,
things.
Aren't they called like
Right?
songbirds or something?
Yeah, he would just destroy him with those things.
But
Possibly.
like, here's the thing: would those even do anything? Against him?
No.
Because the thing is, how much damage can he take? I mean, he's been like slapped around a whole bunch, especially in the TV show and in the actual books. He can be slapped around pretty hard and still survive. But I mean, at the same exact time, you also have to think he can't survive anything. Of course, like if he gets bitten by a certain monster or something, he's still going to get hurt like a normal person. I don't really
Possibly.
know. Like
Possibly.
that's a kind of hard question because the other thing is what kind of situation would it be in?
I think it.
If
Yeah, I think
Mando
it all
if
matters
Mando had
about
no weapons, then he would lose.
Yeah, I think it all matters
like,
about
in hand-to-hand
situation, preparation, what weapons they have, what potions Geralt has.
Mhm.
You know, I think it's all up to that. It's an interesting It's an interesting hypothetical. It's an interesting hypothetical.
Everything at their disposal. If Geralt had every prep time that he needed, you know, and let's say that Geralt was hunting down the Mandalorian. Let's say that. Let's say that he was a quote monster in their universe, right? They were
Okay.
trying to hunt him down. And if he had all the prep time in the world, he was gonna bring him somewhere and say, "I got Baby Yoda or something, you know, come here now." And I think if he came there, and if Mando, you know, Mando being Mando, he probably 100% knows that it's actually gonna be, you know, like an ambush and stuff. But I think that it would be very close. But I feel like at the end of the day, if Geralt had the drop on Mando,
Mm-hmm.
I think that he would win. You know, because the thing is, if he disarms him with his if he disarms his weapons, you know, and maybe
I think
if he disarms him, if he breaks his songbirds, if he takes away his rifle, you know, I think that he has a pretty good chance of.
But then
you know, if he took away his weapon, he has a pretty good chance of beating his butt.
But then the Beskar though, the Beskar armor, like how does
thing is, it doesn't matter.
Geralt get through that?
He doesn't. He doesn't need to get through the armor. He just needs to hit the weak points. And I mean, again, if you see, again, I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah, he has weak points. It's just like any super armored suit. It has weak points.
Jango Fett died. He literally just got his head chopped off.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
No,
but I mean, it's also
he doesn't have anything around his neck.
Yeah.
It's his head, his chest, and his shoulders, and some around his arms, and some around his legs, of course. But the thing is, if he got shot anywhere else, he'd be dead. You know, if he got, if not shot, but I mean, if anything, any kind of damage hit his arms, like here, hit around his neck, if they hit around his legs or something, he'd be done. I mean, literally, do you not remember when he almost died last season? You know, the Beskar armors, and you know, it's not impenetrable.
Yeah, I mean, it would be an interesting matchup. So chat, let us know your thoughts on this. Who do you think would win, Geralt versus the Mando?
I like how we just took like 10, like 15,
yeah. I want to get back to the main stuff. So here, before we move on though, we've talked about it for long enough. Everybody has to choose just a definitive. Who's your winner? Who do you think would win? Strike, go.
I'm gonna have to. Well, I mean, what kind of situation are we talking about here?
Just a fight. They have all the stuff that they need. It's like Super Smash Bros. You pick the Mandalorian, and yeah, one picks the Mandalorian, one picks Geralt. Super Smash Bros. Go. Who wins?
I'm gonna have to go with Geralt.
Okay.
Oh, Mando.
I'm going to be the tie-breaking vote, and I think I'm gonna have to go with Mando as well. I mean, as much as I love Geralt, as much as I love Henry Cavill in that role, I gotta go Mando because the disintegration rifle. You just can't.
But here's the thing:
the armor, the rifle, the experience. I don't know. I just can't. I can't count him out. I feel like he is almost the underdog in that situation because he doesn't have any powers. But I almost feel like that's also the way that he could win.
But I'm just saying he doesn't need powers because he has technology. You know, technology is basically magic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, so I think I don't know. I think Mando wins. I think it's I think it's close.
I don't know. Again, I also will say that it really depends on the kind of situation that they're put in. You know, if they're somewhere like in the middle of the woods, you know, I think that Geralt can most definitely figure out a way to disarm him without actually being able to be caught.
Yeah, I think it's close, but I think it's Mando.
Yeah, I mean, that's just all up to you guys.
Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Thing, though, I don't know the full potential of Geralt himself.
Yeah, that's true too.
I don't know what kind of things that he can tank. You know, if he could tank one of those shots, then he's golden.
Oh yeah,
you know, but if not, then you know, we'll see. But it really just depends.
Yeah. Anyway, we've gone off on this random tangent for long enough. So let's talk about. So yeah, let's talk about one more thing before we get to the major. And well, here actually, because we were talking about Baby Yoda and like the possibility that he is seeing all this violence, what do you think the potential is that Baby Yoda, over time, you see more of him like becoming more violent because of him being around everything? Do you think that we see him, force choke somebody else this season? Do you think we see him get angry or something and like
I think it would be more of trying to be more like Mando himself.
Right.
And I think he'd be more of a, not exactly like a stone cold killer, but I think that he would be more of like a, I don't know, he wouldn't, I don't think that he would completely want to follow the Jedi code, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think that he would be.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think we're going to see Baby Yoda. I don't take this the wrong way. I don't think we're going to see Baby Yoda like turn evil or anything, but like, what are the chances that we see him pull like an Anakin and accidentally like combust somebody, Is like just use the Force and just completely murk someone accidentally.
I think there's a chance that he might actually do that, and I think that he might learn. Okay, that's right.
Not and I think that
if he does do it, it's not going to be like his defining character.
Yeah, no, I think that if he does
do it and just see that it's not the right thing to do.
Right. If he does it, then I think that'll show not only Baby Yoda but also the Mando, like, hey, he needs real training, and that's where I think. Spoilers, I guess, but like an official Disney Plus account also posted this, and it's been rumored for forever. So we're gonna get Ahsoka. We're gonna get Ahsoka played by Rosario Dawson at some point this season. Not sure if it's one episode, not sure if it's a couple of episodes, not sure if it's a cameo or an actual like recurring important role, but we're going to have Ahsoka at some point, whether or not that's just her in the series for a little bit or her being in the series for a little bit, setting up a possible spinoff. I think that's what they're doing. I think they're trying to create their own, connected Star Wars TV universe. But I think no, continue.
I was just going to say that I think that she would just teach him that there's such thing as a third option. You're not just a Jedi or a Sith. You can just do your own thing.
Exactly. I think
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think Ahsoka is honestly one of the best examples of balance within the Star Wars universe. Because she's like the epitome of a gray Jedi, a Force user that uses their powers for good, but does not affiliate themselves with the Jedi anymore, or obviously not with the Sith either. She's just kind of in the middle,
She's like a. Oh, my bad.
No, continue. Yeah, go with what you're saying.
So she's kind of like a great Jedi. Like, she has like neutral views on the dark side.
Exactly. And I think that that's what makes Ahsoka such a special character in the Star Wars universe. And obviously, since Dave Filoni is such a big part of making Mando in conjunction with Jon Favreau, I think. However, Ahsoka is integrated into this series, whether or not it's to just, be there to help along Baby Yoda, or to, do that in addition to also setting up her own spin-off later on. I think the character will be handled really well. But that's just me. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think that, if she's going to be in there, I think that more than anything, they're going to work together for like a little while, and then she's just going to give them some advice, and they're just going to go on their way. Yeah. I personally don't feel like she's going to be in there for very long. I don't really think that she's going to try to bring them out into like the more wide, I guess, Star Wars experience. And I don't think that they're going to like, learn anything Anakin Skywalker, the Skywalkers, or, Darth Vader or anything like that. I don't think they're really going to have to worry about that. I just think that it's just going to be, I think it's going to be mostly just Mando and Baby Yoda just really trying to find their way in the universe.
Yeah, so you think, I kind of agree with that. I think it's just Mando, Baby Yoda, they will come across Ahsoka and probably Sabine out there in the wild, and just it'll be a one episode thing. It's like, all right, they see Ahsoka helps them with whatever. You don't have water, do you?
I know. I just looked back and I was just like, I don't have water this time.
So like they see Ahsoka, she helps them with whatever they need for that episode or whatever, and that kind of sets up, if it is going to be Ahsoka and Sabine, maybe that sets up their, search for Ezra show or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think that it's gonna be too major, and I don't think it's gonna take away from the separation that the Mando is from the rest of the Star Wars universe. I think it's just them introducing a character that we've only seen in animation, see how they do in live action, see if fans would like a live action version of Ahsoka, which I'm pretty sure everybody would like to see. You know, I would like to see that.
Mhm.
So, you know, I think it's just kind of a proof of concept to kind of test the waters on that. But yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited too, to be honest.
Yeah. Crusader, what do you think?
Well,
Blank?
you guys already.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, I mean, if you got nothing to add, that's fine. That's fine. We'll move on to the next part that I wanted to talk about. Tusken Raiders, aka the Sand People. Dude, they were great in this episode. Like, all we thought of them, like, I'm never gonna look at episode 2 the same way again, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing. I feel like something that Mandalorian does very well is I feel like they take a lot of aspects from the lore of the Star Wars universe,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like they really just open them up, you know. And I feel like they do the things that they have to do to show people that everything is not just the Force and, you know, I don't know, the big galactic war. You know,
Yeah.
things can be smaller scale. They can
Yeah,
just
there's
be
more to
single
the
stories.
yeah, there's more to the Star Wars universe than just the Jedi, the Force, the Sith, all
Right,
that
and
stuff.
I feel like there was always something behind the Tusken Raiders that we never really knew. And I feel like now more than ever, we really are like actually being able to see those aspects of those kind of characters and everything. And I feel like we're learning a lot more about the history of the Star Wars universe. in a
Yeah,
sense.
exactly. I think so too. And I think it's great to kind of get this inside look, this different perspective on this group of people in the Star Wars universe that most people didn't really think of as people. Just kind of thought of them as
Right.
just like random creatures on Tatooine, but they're like legitimately a tribe of people that live on Tatooine. They just, you know, live a different way. They have a different way of life, but that doesn't mean that they are, you know, less than anybody else.
And it doesn't mean they're subhuman. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like
but-
that's something that. Oh, go ahead. As
Yeah,
I
no.
was.
Yeah, no. And I think it also kind of, you know, it was great to see, you know, Mando be that kind of mediator between the Tuskens and the people of Mos Pelgo, because like he could speak Tusken. It was actually Pedro Pascal doing the voices and stuff like that, which was really cool. I loved how he, like, you know, was petting the Tusken dog or whatever you want to call that. I thought that was great. And yeah, and I thought it was really cool the way that they, you know, the way the language was, the way that they used like kind of the sign language and all that stuff. And I just loved it. And it was like, how do we kill it? And it's just like, all right, now I know chop. That's that's sand people for cut, for just kill. So yeah, no, I thought that was fun. I thought that was great. And I thought, I think we're never gonna look at them the same way again. But
Right.
yeah, before you say what you're saying, looking over at chat, what is up, Ewell? How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. But yeah, Tyler, continue.
Oh, I wasn't really even gonna say anything special.
Yeah. Well,
I'm really just.
oh my bad. But
Oh no, go no. I was just saying I wasn't really gonna say anything.
what about the Tusken Raiders and the Sand People? I mean, like in the Star Wars movies, like, you know, they were considered as, you know, like brutes, you know, like in the Tatooine on the planet. Like, you know, like they just attack anyone on the path. And then, like, you know, remember Lego Star Wars with that one iconic scene on pod racing when they take pot shots in the pod racing?
yeah.
So, but it gave more of a extended like perspective on this premiere, because like we like learn more on their like strategies, of language, and their culture, and with like their low tension with the settlers as well.
Right, yeah. I thought that was great. And I thought that it was like, yeah.
Yeah, but overall, it gave more of a, you know, perspective, as I said again. But like we never really like realized like who they really are, because, you know, we never really look into it as their race and their culture.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
well.
It humanize
plus,
them.
we don't even know what they look like under their outfits.
Yeah,
I don't even
that'd be
know.
fun. I wonder what they do look like under there.
Are
I
they
actually,
Jewish?
I
Are they
feel like we've seen him before, but at the same exact time, I feel like we haven't.
Yeah.
They're just scavengers
I don't know.
under, like,
Yeah,
some rats.
they're cool though. They're cool. I thought it humanized them quite well. And I loved that. It also, the whole episode just kind of felt like a Western, you know?
Cowboy.
Yeah, it really did. But moving on to, we've literally spent 50 minutes dancing around this. End of the episode, awesome fight scene with the crate dragon. Everybody, they blow it up. They throw the RIP to the bantha that was sacrificed, or to the many banthas we lost in this episode, that sacrificed their lives to take down the crate dragon. We have Mando throw the get the bantha inside the crate dragon, blow it up. Tusken Raiders take the crate dragon meat, I guess, and they find the pearl inside of it. Mando and Baby Yoda take their little chunk of meat, and what's it called? Cobb Vanth hands over the Boba Fett armor, and he's like, "Hey, tell your people I didn't break this thing," because we had him had Mando like hit the jetpack, same as Boba Fett had his jetpack hit in episode 6, which was very cool. So episode ends off, Mando and Baby Yoda ride off into the sunset with Boba Fett's armor. Cobb Vanth and Mando have a mutual respect for each other. Probably gonna see Cobb Vanth pop back up at some point. But as they're riding off into the sunset, we have a mysterious figure up on the cliffs, wearing this long cloak, with some Tusken weapons on his back. He turns to the camera, and we see the bald head and deformed face of Tamora Morrison, aka Boba Fett. So,
He lives.
Boba Fett lives. And as the resident major Boba Fett fan, Strike, Ghost Lead, brother, what is your opinion on your favorite character returning to Star Wars finally, after all these years?
I told you he wasn't dead. I said it for years. Nobody believed me, but I told you he wasn't dead. Told you he was never dead. Told you Boba Fett don't go down like that. I told you Boba Fett was built different. All right? Boba Fett is great. And I'm glad that he's back. I'm glad that Tamora Morrison is playing as him. But before we continue to talk about him, I think we must know our history, shouldn't we?
All right, inform us. Inform us. We are in class. You have the microphone.
So I'm not going to go crazy in detail. I'm going to assume that most people already know that, Boba Fett is a clone of Jango Fett, just like all the other clones, but he doesn't have the aging and all that kind of stuff. But let me give you guys some background on Jango Fett. So Jango Fett, and this is in the new canon, and we don't really know much about him, but he claims, and I say the keyword claims, to have been born on planet Concord Dawn. So Concord Dawn is a Mandalorian planet, but when almost forgot his name, but when Obi-Wan talked with Prime Minister Olmec, which, I mean, some of us can really understand how reliable he might be, which is not very reliable. I'm talking about Prime Minister Olmec, not Obi-Wan, but Olmec isn't really the most reliable person, most reliable source, I will say, but he said that Jango is not a Mandalorian, that they don't really claim him. They just say, oh, he just got this armor as like a relic or something. He's not that, and he's not really a real Mandalorian. But the thing is, he said that he said that he came from planet Concord Dawn. Now, it could either be that he's just trying to play him and he's like, I'm not really a Mandalorian, I'm just saying it. Or the other thing is, he could have really been a Mandalorian and he's just, not exactly playing with the idea of it, but he's I don't know, maybe he's just really gone away from that kind of lifestyle. But I mean, it's really weird from here because much of Jango Fett's early life we don't really know much about. In Legends, at least, he was full Mandalorian. He was a crazy Mandalorian as well. He killed 6 Jedi barehanded. He's a beast basically. And there's a reason as to why he's called, the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, at least for when he was alive. And there's a lot of great bounty hunters that were still alive around there, including Cad Bane. And if he's better than Cad Bane, you can already tell that the dude's crazy. He's crazy good. But other than that, that's just Jango Fett's life, and of course he trained for a few years. Boba Fett wasn't about 10, 13 years, something like that. That he was training him.
Yeah, I think to cut you off, I think Boba was supposed to be 10 in Attack of the Clones because what was it? The Order for the Clones went in 10 years ago by Sifo Dyas, whatever. So yeah. So anyway, continue.
Basically, Boba Fett took Jango Fett's armor after 10 years of being trained. I'm gonna go with 10 years. After being raised by him for 10 years, being trained by him for 10 years, and being basically taught everything he needs to be known. Well, not everything he needs to know. Basically everything he needs to know. In 10 years. But that wasn't it for his training. He also went out and actually was trying to kill what's his name? I almost forget his name. Mace Windu. Because of course he killed his father. And he's like, oh, you killed my father, let me kill you too. And he tried a whole bunch of different ways to try to kill him. And I don't think during that time that he was wearing it, but he actually did take Jango Fett's armor. And Boba Fett's armor is just Jango Fett's armor, just changed up a good bit. So if you ever look at it and you say, well, that looks kind of similar, because it is. But it's not made, and this is going to be interesting, their armor is not actually made of Beskar steel.
Right.
It's actually made of, let me look, Durasteel alloy.
Okay.
But that's actually what old Mandalorian armor was actually made of. So that kind of does support Olmec's idea of Jango Fett just taking the armor. Somehow.
Right, and we saw it in this week's episode when Cobb Vanth was wearing the armor. It still deflects bullets and stuff. So it's still pretty tough. Yeah.
But the thing is, Boba Fett basically took the armor. We don't actually know. He might have actually melted down and taken some Beskar steel and actually put it on the armor. We're not really sure. So that's maybe a reason why it might be more powerful than it was before, as in strength wise. But mainly though, Boba Fett was just working with Aurra Sing. And if you don't know her, she's a bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe. She's all white skin. She's got the little ponytail thing, but she has no hair around, just a ponytail. Anyway, she was
the one player. From what, episode 1?
I don't think was she in episode? Was Aurra singing?
Was she?
I don't even remember.
I don't even know. I feel like she was up on on the
good stuff.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I feel like she was up on the cliffs or something.
He was trained by some more bounty hunters. He was trained by a whole bunch of people.
Right.
So Boba Fett had a lot of training, and he's not a half bad bounty hunter, seeing how he works very closely with the Hutts, and he took down Han Solo himself. He's not a bad bounty hunter. It's just I will say personally, I feel like a lot of the situations where he lost was because the story wanted him to lose and the story needed him to lose. Not exactly, the whole he's a bad bounty hunter.
So he's just what you're saying is that you are a Boba Fett shill.
I am not. I'm just saying that Boba Fett is not a loser. All right. And
I know. No, man. I love Boba. I love Boba as well.
Would get clapped by almost anybody else. But a lot of the situations that he got stuck in are very stupid situations.
Yeah, no, I love Boba Fett. I love Boba Fett as much as the next guy for sure. You have definitely,
that's
grown my appreciation for Boba Fett over the years. And I'm so glad to see him come back. I'm glad to see Tamora Morrison getting to step back into this role, I guess you could say again, because he did play Jango. And it's only natural that the older version of Boba would look exactly like Jango, as he was a clone. And if you're wondering, okay, well then why isn't Daniel Logan, the kid who played Boba in the prequels, why isn't he playing Boba now? And that's because we did a little bit of math. And Tamora Morrison is like 59. Daniel Logan is, I think, 33 or something like that. Boba Fett would be around his mid 50s right now, if we are like at this point in the Star Wars timeline. So Tamora Morrison is much closer in age to what Boba Fett should be.
Right.
As opposed to Daniel Logan. Like, the only way we could see Daniel Logan ever play Boba Fett would be if we saw him maybe in like a continuation of the Solo spinoffs, like if they were to make either another Solo series or like a Lando spinoff or another Solo movie. Hashtag make Solo 2 happen. But yeah, like I feel like we could see him play a younger Boba Fett, but it makes 100% sense that Tamora Morrison would be playing the present day Boba Fett. And I'm so glad to see him back. Crusader, what do you think?
I mean, it's cool to see him back, but it still questions me, like, like why he's in hiding and how did he lose his armor? Because
right.
The last time we saw him was in Return of the Jedi, so that was like, I don't know how long that is, because
it's about 5 years ago. I want to say about 5 years ago from when Mando takes place.
Basically, when Boba was in his armor, fighting Luke Skywalker, and on Tatooine, and the armor probably got damaged by the when he fell into the what was that thing? The Sarlacc worm?
Yep. Yeah, the Sarlacc pit.
But it doesn't really like say like how like he got separated by it, unless he like maybe he like took it off, or he
right,
someone stole it from him.
Right. So that's the question. Do we think that, so I feel like Boba couldn't have been inside the Sarlacc pit for very long, right? Because if we look at the timeline of when Cobb Vanth got Boba's armor from the Jawa Sandcrawler, that was shortly after the second Death Star blew up, right? So that was maybe a couple weeks at most after Boba had been ingested, I guess you could say, by the Sarlacc pit. So I'd say he probably got out of there relatively quickly from when we last saw him in episode 6. So I'd say shortly after he got thrown into the Sarlacc pit, he then somehow escaped and then possibly had to take his armor off, because maybe, the armor protected him obviously from the acidity inside of the Sarlacc pit. So he either took it off, it fell off, it came off, he had to get rid of it when he came out of the pit, or he came out of the Sarlacc pit and the Jawas scavenged it off of him or something. That's what I'm thinking. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's basically about it, as in when it comes to why he lost his armor. I think that he just kind of came out and he was just like, oh, I either don't need it right now, or maybe he just was knocked out and they thought he was dead, and so they took it.
They just scavenged it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the Jawas do.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime they're ever in there, they just kind of see something. Oh, let me get that real quick.
Take that.
They were scavengers.
Yeah, they're scavengers.
Filthy drunk traders.
Yeah. Also something that this is completely back on my Boba Fett stuff, but this shows why a lot of people think that Boba Fett is a joke. But in one of the comics, there was a duel between him and Luke Skywalker, I mean, in Kenobi's old home.
Okay.
And he was just basically trying to get he was trying to get Luke back to Darth Vader. And of course he wasn't trying to kill him. And he could have killed him, but he just didn't want to, of course. But the thing is, though, in this he literally flashbanged Luke, and he was basically blinded for a good bit.
Okay.
But Luke basically swung around his lightsaber so much that it made Boba walk backwards and trip on R2. And on top of that, he was, he literally got Luke Skywalker on the ground. And before this, he just started cutting him up with his vibro blade, which we saw some of that at the beginning of Mando.
Oh yeah,
First
Mando vibro blade. That was
fighting
cool.
through the freaking
that was
vibro blade straight
that was
into
very
dude's
cool.
chest. Just cool.
Very
but basically,
cool.
he had him on the ground, and he was taking the lightsaber to Skywalker's face, and Luke Skywalker literally just threw a box of stuff in, because they're inside. I didn't say this before, but they're inside Ben Kenobi's home. And
Okay.
it's a box that
I think
says
you did say that
for
actually.
Skywalker.
Uh-huh.
And they threw the box. He literally just threw the box at Boba's head, and it knocked him out.
So what you're telling me is Boba has literally the worst luck in all of Star Wars. He's the most unlucky character. He must have broken 80 million mirrors, walked in front of 2,000 black cats, spilled salt at every meal.
All I'm gonna say, and he said that he reported the boy had gotten lucky. That's all he said.
The boy had gotten lucky.
And he just and Vader was just super disappointed in him.
Okay, wait, so here. Also, what about the Vader-Boba Fett duel? Where Boba Fett had he had a lightsaber, and then Vader got mad at him or something. And they were on Tatooine. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I need to look it up.
Yeah, so yeah, you look that up because I don't know, that's what I was thinking about. So Crusader, what were you gonna say? Yeah, I think it could be Legends also, but I'm not sure because I know I've seen people talking about it recently.
Yeah, in the non-canonical Star Wars Tales series.
Okay.
So it was non-canon.
All right.
And of course, Boba's one of the deadliest bounty hunters in the galaxy. But basically, though, he dueled. It was a small what if.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. So they were fighting, and then Han Solo was around. And Han Solo ran away, basically, just because they were fighting. And
what happened?
So because of the fact that Boba had his own lightsaber and Darth Vader wasn't expecting that, supposedly it evened the odds. It doesn't say who won. I
think how it ended was Boba got away and Vader was mad.
Him while Vader initially gets the upper hand, and is about to deliver the killing blow with a lightsaber. Fett reveals his own lightsaber to block the strike. This angers Vader even more than Fett already has. So basically, they don't kill each other. They just end the fight and basically go back up to fighting Han Solo because Han Solo is starting to get away.
Okay.
But supposedly, they were both kind of evenly matched because Darth Vader was not expecting him to have the lightsaber with him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
interesting. Okay. I mean, so it doesn't matter. It's a legend.
So
it's a Legends thing. It doesn't matter. But I just thought it was interesting.
Being able to kill, 6 Jedi barehanded. It's not canon anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting.
It's a cool thing, but just yeah,
I thought it was interesting.
That's all I have left on Boba Fett and Jango. All I'm saying is I'm excited to see Boba Fett show up in the show Mandalorian. I don't know if it's going to be next episode. I don't know really when he's going to show up, but I think whenever he does, I think that's just going to be something great.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it would be really cool.
Boba would be as a mutual side with Mando, or more hostile?
So that's the biggest thing. I feel like
I think he's going to try to trick him.
I think he's going to trick. I think he's going to trick him as well. I think Mando, when he first meets Boba Fett, is going to think he's like, oh, this dude is the epitome of a Mandalorian. He is, the OG, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think over time he's going to realize, kind of like what I'm thinking is going to be the theme of the entire season, right? Is that having Mandalorian armor, calling yourself a Mandalorian doesn't necessarily make you a Mandalorian. And going back to the whole thing, it's a creed, not a race, right? Is I think he's going to, I feel like like kind of like the sappy like IMDb page summary of the season. I feel like it's something like, you know, this season Din Djarin learns what it truly means to be a Mandalorian, and I feel like that's, you know, as cheesy as that sounds, I feel like that's the direction that they're going to be going this season. I feel like he's going to give Boba his armor back, and then eventually learn to regret that decision, and then possibly we'll get a showdown between Mando and Boba, whether or not Mando gets Boba's armor back and gives it to Cobb Vanth, or eventually is like, hey, Cobb Vanth, you can join our little club if you want. I don't know if he'll actually make him like an honorary Mandalorian or something like that, or he'll just kind of join up, like join the team like Cara Dune and all them. But yeah, I kind of think Boba at first is going to act like a friend to Din, but eventually they will kind of become enemies, because I don't think they're going to see eye to eye on a lot of stuff because of the fact that, you know, Boba worked for the Empire. I feel like there's a possibility that Boba could also be, you know, working with the Empire remnants. Maybe that's kind of why he ditched the armor, is so people don't know.
Here's my question, though. What would his whole purpose of doing so be?
Right, yeah, that's my only thing, is I don't understand, like, why would he want to work?
He was working with the Hutts. And the thing is now, if Boba Fett were to want to work with the Empire, I guess now, whatever is left of them, what would his purpose be? You know, and
right.
I was talking about this before, and Moff Gideon, right?
Yeah. I was surprised that we didn't get any Moff Gideon this episode, actually.
What would his purpose of working with Moff Gideon be? He doesn't care about being a Mandalorian. He doesn't care about...
Yeah,
you know,
it's like right. That would have been my initial thought, but you're right. Is like Boba doesn't. That's not his. That's not his thing. He doesn't care about. Yeah, he doesn't care about the Mandalorian creed.
Basically,
right.
You know, all he cared about before was killing. What's his name? Was just killing. I can't
Mace
remember. Mace Windu. Yeah. I don't know why. I'm just losing my mind tonight.
Yeah.
And then after that, who do you care about? Han Solo. But why does he care about Han Solo? To be honest, just probably because
it's just because it was his bounty. It was just like his bounty, and it was the bounty that got away, or the bounty that kept getting away. And he was even after he got it, the bounty still got away.
Yeah, exactly.
And threw him into a Sarlacc pit while he was blind.
Why does everything happen when he's blind? I also just realized that's the same thing that happened to him when he was what's it called? When he was trying to get Luke Skywalker in the house.
No, Boba Fett wasn't blind, but Han Solo was blind.
I'm saying Han Solo was blind.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. You know, you're right. And then Luke was blind. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Man. Okay. Boba Fett's weakness is people blind with vision impairment.
Jeez.
Oh no. Copyrighted music is playing.
He is a good guy.
Keep talking while I change the music.
He was trained by Cad Bane and Bosk. Bosk, if you don't know who his father is literally the head of the Bounty Hunters Guild.
Yeah.
So.
We're good. We're good. That's the only thing I hate about the Spotify web player, is that like once it gets to the end of a playlist, it just like randomly throws up a song, and I'm like, no. But anyway, yeah, back to Mando stuff though. I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting to see what Boba's motivation is. You know, it's gonna be. I feel like I said, I think it's gonna start off with him kind of pretending like he wants to team up with Mando. Then his true intentions will be revealed, and then they'll be at odds. But I think that won't be until after Boba gets his armor back, and he'll probably realize like, hey, maybe I shouldn't have given this guy the Mandalorian armor back because the other guy, Cobb Vanth, exhibited much more of, like, embodied the spirit of a Mandalorian much more than this guy.
Yeah.
But then also, you could take it the other way, that by seeing all of these other people, either that aren't Mandalorians or have the Mandalorian armor or whatever, he can see that maybe you don't have to follow this creed to a T. You don't have to be so strict with it. You don't have to, you know, never take off your helmet. This is the way, you know. It might not... He might realize by the end of the season, like, hey, there's more to life than, you know, this creed. That maybe...
Right. We were talking about this before, but I was just saying how I feel like it's so strange how this one group of Mandalorians take this creed that no other Mandalorian has done. No other Mandalorian we've ever seen in any form of media has taken it that far.
Yeah.
And my only question is, he will probably realize, and especially when he meets what's her name, if she still is in this, what was her name?
Who?
Bo-Katan?
Bo-Katan?
Yeah, Bo-Katan.
Okay.
I literally can't remember anybody's name
Yeah.
tonight. But if he sees Bo-Katan, who literally was the ruler of Mandalore, at least for a small period.
Well, yeah, because she held the Darksaber at a point. Yeah, she held the Darksaber at a point.
Her helmet off, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. That's not."
Yeah. Well, okay, then here.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, no. Well, here, that's the other thing, right? Is so when did this whole "this is the way, never take off your helmet in front of anybody else" type of thing? Where did that come from? That obviously happened. It had to have happened sometime between where Bo-Katan had the Darksaber in Rebels and now, or like is there just like this sect of Mandalorians that is very
like
about is like
TV.
super hardcore about the old ways, and then he kind of realizes, hey, maybe, you know, maybe this, you know, this is not the way. You know, I don't know.
What do you think, Crusader?
I got nothing to say.
We're just like stealing all the conversation from you.
Yeah. No, I feel like you're super quiet right now.
But I mean, here's the other thing. We're coming up on like an hour in. Like,
yeah, I know. We've been talking for forever. This. Okay, so here.
Wrap it up.
Okay, yeah, we gotta wrap it up.
Last final things about Mandalorian episode 1.
Yeah, let's go like maybe 5-10 more minutes. No more than an hour 30. So last couple
I'm done with what I have to say.
Yeah, I mean the last thing I really wanted to bring up was back last season, the Tatooine episode with the other bounty hunter that got killed possibly, and then we saw, you know, the boots and the spurs or whatever, and that's kind of what sparked the whole, was that Boba Fett? So do you think, now that we've seen Boba Fett, was that Boba Fett or was that Cobb Vanth?
Most definitely it's still Boba Fett, because Cobb Vanth did not have he didn't have the full gear. He
right.
didn't have the bottoms and stuff. For some strange reason he didn't, but I think that's because Boba still has his. And of course he was wearing the big old black cloak.
Yeah, yeah. And then also I think the bounty hunter, literally the name slips my mind, but her character, she would have shown up in this episode in that town if she were there.
Right.
So I think
Cobb Vanth went out there and just murked her and just left.
Yeah, no, I think Boba has her as either prisoner or like she's like now working with him.
What exactly were her motives? Was she still working?
I think she was just I don't know. I think she was just like a rogue bounty hunter. I think
she was too. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think she was just kind of like a rogue. Yeah, I think she was just kind of like a rogue bounty hunter.
Because she wasn't she ex-Empire though. And the other thing is, maybe he just saved her because she was his friend. Maybe Boba is just doing his own thing now. Maybe he's just going to be coming up with his own, you know, syndicate or guild or whatever.
Possibly.
Because he did make his own syndicate on Tatooine before. Maybe there's still remnants of it. If you don't remember that, he had his own bounty hunter syndicate on Tatooine. Maybe she was a part of it. And maybe he's just gathering new members and doing something new with it.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But yeah, I mean, anyway, it's a lot to speculate on. I'm sure we'll get answers sooner rather than later. I feel like they teased Boba Fett at the end of this episode. I feel like we'll probably get more next week, hopefully. Or maybe it's something that they'll set up. I'd say, well, if we don't get more Boba Fett next week, then I feel like that's something that they've got to address at least by the midpoint of the season.
All right.
So, because keep in mind, it's only 8 episodes. But luckily, the episodes are longer this season. I really appreciated that with this episode. It was like 52 minutes or something like that.
Yeah,
So I was glad that it was a bit longer.
Long episodes are great.
Long episodes. The more Mando, the better, for sure. The more Mando and Baby Yoda, the better. But yeah, I'm not really sure what's supposed to go on next week. I hope we get more Moff Gideon. I think that's the other mystery, aside from, when Ahsoka shows up and Bo-Katan and possibly Sabine, and, learning more about possibly the past of Baby Yoda or whatever. I think the other major mystery for the season, and the thing that I'm really looking forward to, is learning more about the past of Moff Gideon, how he got the Darksaber, what his whole past is. Like, does he have some sort of claim? Does he have some sort of claim to the Darksaber? Did he defeat Bo-Katan in combat and then took the Darksaber? Does he have some sort of right to the Darksaber because he's possibly Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Or is he just kind of a rogue?
We'll just have to see, because of course we can't. There's only so much speculation that we can do.
Yeah.
On these kind of characters and exactly how they acquired some of these things. And I feel like we'll learn more about that, of course. And I think that what this season's gonna come down to is, I think it's gonna come down to half of the season most likely will be all the stuff that we're talking about now, all the stuff that we're learning about now. And I think the second half is gonna be more about, or at least, the last, 3 quarters or whatever, will be about these characters like Cara Dune and all of his merrily gang. And they're going to get all together, and they're just going to go ahead and start figuring out some of this information, because the Ahsoka episode and all that, from what we've seen, won't happen until later. That stuff is not going to happen until later.
I think it's one of the middle episodes that Dave Filoni is directing, and people are assuming, okay, that'll be the Ahsoka episode because that's his character. That's his character. But yeah, anyway, I'd say we've gone on long enough. I've got a couple of things that I do want to talk about very briefly here at the end, just so the title's not too clickbaity. Because we literally only talked about Mandalorian for almost an hour and a half. But final thoughts on this episode, and just what you're looking forward to in the next. I know you basically said it. Crusader, you got anything else to add?
This it was like a season cracking, like a cracking season opener. About the Imperial entanglement. From last season, from that finale with Moff Gideon, and then those Imperial sympathizers. But Tatooine is like one of those familiar locations that we all know from Star Wars films and probably in video games as well. But I'm really excited for this season anyway, because Mandalorian, and I'm just waiting for the adventures that with Boba Fett, he's still alive, and then all the new stuff coming in. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think basically I've said everything I've wanted to say on this episode. It was great. I'm excited for more. Can't wait for more Boba Fett. Can't wait for more of these characters to pop up. Later on in the season and stuff like that. And I think it'll be interesting to see the interactions between Din Djarin and Boba Fett, and more Baby Yoda, obviously. But yeah, I'm just super excited for the next episode. Definitely gonna be staying up super late to watch that one again. And I just wanted to add here that as long as Mando's going, as long as you guys keep wanting to hear our thoughts on the episodes, I think that's pretty much what Legion Lounge is gonna turn into now. Is just kind of the Mandalorian after party. Like, at least that's the plan.
There's not much really.
Yeah, there's not much else going on, and we'll mention other stuff like towards the end. They probably all won't be this long. I would hope.
Of course.
But yeah, we'll probably try to condense these a little bit more, but just because it was the premiere and we haven't talked about Mando too much, I just kind of was like, all right, let's just go all out on it. But yeah, I think Mando episode reviews will be a larger part of Legion Lounge going forward throughout the rest of the season. And of course, if there's other stuff to talk about, then we will, condense our reviews a little bit and then move on to the next thing. But I do want to keep this as a staple for as long as the season goes, because I won't be doing like individual reviews for the episodes, because there's so many Star Wars focused channels out there that do that. But I thought it's fun to just hop on here, do a long form review, get everybody's thoughts in on the episode, and obviously you guys can comment in chat and let us know what you think as well. But a couple of things here before we wrap up. Just wanted to quickly get your thoughts on the Moon Knight casting. We finally know who's going to be playing Moon Knight. Oscar Isaac, after playing like two or three other Marvel characters. He played Apocalypse. He played Spider-Man 2099.
I think that's about it.
That is it. Yeah, no, I think that is it. Yeah, this will be his third one. So I think the casting's great. Like, that was not, he was definitely not like on my list of people who I thought was going to be Moon Knight. But because he was kind of on that list of people, or on that fan cast list, of what people wanted for Batman before we knew Robert Pattinson was gonna take that up. I think that's great that they, snatched him up for Moon Knight, because Moon Knight's basically just an edgy Marvel Batman. So
yeah, I mean, I think that Moon Knight's going to be a very interesting character to see. I know I've kind of been excited for this. I don't really listen to or read many comics or know much information about Moon Knight, but I mean, I do know a lot of his basic powers, exactly who he is, and all that basic stuff. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with the character, especially with bring him into the actual Marvel universe. I think that's gonna be great.
Yeah. Crusader, what do you think?
Oscar Isaac.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, I don't really watch that type of shows that much.
Oh, okay. No, I just wonder if you had an opinion on it.
It sounds good.
I mean, just another reason to have Disney Plus. I saw a fun meme earlier today, yesterday, whatever. People were like, what I pay, like, what was it, like $70 a year for, or like what most people pay $70 a year for Disney Plus, what I pay that money for, and it was like The Mandalorian and Clone Wars, and I was like, that's pretty much it until some of the Marvel stuff comes out. But basically. Yeah, I'm hoping that'll come out soon. Supposedly WandaVision's gonna come out in December now, so I don't know. Hopefully that comes out soon. Hopefully Falcon and the Winter Soldier comes out soon. But right now, like, pretty much the only thing on there to watch is Mando and Clone Wars and old Disney movies, Disney Channel stuff, all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's not great for new content, but if you don't care as much about that, if you care more about the back catalog, and Mando is worth it to you, then, I think it's pretty great. Last couple things, or last thing I did want to mention here. I did make a full video on it, but just for those who might have missed it and care about it, we have DCTV premiere dates, or at least tentative premiere dates, because obviously these things are always subject to change. Like, originally everything was going to come back in January, now it's not. We have, premiere dates for 4 of our DCTV shows, because Stargirl, Supergirl, and Legends, that'll be like mid-season premieres. Those will be like late spring, early summer. But everything that is premiering at the beginning of the year did get tentative start dates. So we have Batwoman Season 2 starting January 17th. We have Black Lightning Season 4 starting February 8th. The Flash Season 7 and the Superman and Lois premiere on February 23rd at 8 and 9 p.m. respectively. They're going to be back to back, and I think that's great, because Flash is the one that gets the most views out of all the DC TV shows, and they always want to put the new show right after that. So they've done that in the past. They did that. I I think they did that with they paired up Supergirl and Batwoman last year. What else did they do that with? I think they did that with Black Lightning when it first came out. Black Lightning was the 9 p.m. show on Tuesdays right after Flash, so now they're doing that with Superman and Lois. And I wouldn't be surprised if Superman and Lois is still airing by the time Supergirl comes out, if they might shift that around and put Stargirl on Tuesdays after the Flash, and then move Superman and Lois to either before or after Supergirl. Because Stargirl was airing on Tuesdays when that was airing on the CW last season. But yeah,
this is gonna be a very weird year not having Arrow.
It's gonna be a very weird year, but also there's so much content. Like Flash and Superman and Lois on the same day. And then, Batwoman on, what was it, Sundays, I think? I don't even know at this point, but I'm not going to look back at the list. But yeah, like, it's a mess. It's a mess, but it's a good mess. Because we've gone for so long without our shows, like, everything's just going to be
great to
just thrown back at us. Reviews and theories and stuff are going to be a nightmare. But worst comes to worst, we'll just talk about everything on Legion Lounge that I don't make videos on. Yeah, but what were you gonna say?
That was it. Actually, I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say it was just sad not to see Arrow on. That's about it.
Yeah, it is sad not to see Arrow on.
I mean, we have so much content now. This is gonna be crazy.
It is.
We're gonna actually have our first ever show, newest show, on one of the trio of the Justice League, which I think is gonna be great.
Yeah, for sure. One of the Trinity. But yeah, anyway, guys, we're coming up on that, or we already have passed that hour and a half mark. That pretty much does it for the stream tonight. If you guys have any last minute chats to send in, send them in. We will chill here for another couple of minutes. But that's pretty much all we've got for tonight. Mando season 2 premiere was amazing. We'll talk about it. Talk about episode 2 this time next week. And DCTV stuff have their premiere dates and all that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's kind of been a snow news week, a slower news week, except we did get suit reveals for Batwoman and Red Hood, which I did make videos on. Shameless plugging, but yeah, check the check the channel out for those. Did post about that. And then we did get some villain castings for Stargirl Season 2. Again, did make another video on that as well. So I guess I've been kind of busy in the past week just pumping out videos. But not too much craziness to mention here on Legion Lounge, which is why we just kind of focused on Mando. So seems like everybody's all good on that. Anything final to add, plug, whatever? If not, I guess we'll head on out of here and wrap things up.
I just want to say thank you guys for watching. It was great to finally be able to talk about Mandalorian once again. Actually have some content, some new content to actually talk about, and not just look at things from the sidelines and look at, I don't know, basically rumors and pictures of sets and everything like that. At least we actually have something we can actually watch, something tangible now, and I think that it's great. And I can't wait till a lot of these other shows are able to actually come back on the air. I think it's going to be great, and I think everything from here on out is just going to be a lot better, hopefully.
Yeah. So with all of that said, thank you guys so much for coming out to the stream once again. Love you guys. You guys are the best. And love streaming over here. Streamed on Twitch last night. Streaming's fun. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out to the stream. Once again, we will be back here, same bat time, same bat channel, next week here on the channel for Legion Lounge Live. So, peace out, guys. Good night. Have a great one. Watch Mando if you haven't. Gear up for Mando episode 2 next week, and we're out. So, until next time, guys, it's been Tazz, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream.